Okay, so in 5 minutes we are going to start it, huh? 5 seconds, sorry. Now I hope everybody has downloaded it. So let us start the class. Good afternoon to everyone. As yesterday we have started basic idea about composite wood. And I have also told you about the adhesives, those we use for the composite wood manufacturing, right? So today we will start about different kind of composite wood. Now, let us begin with, first of all, again, the definition of composite wood. As yesterday I told you, composite wood is a general term for built up bonded product, right? Built up bonded product. It is either fully of natural wood, or it may be in combination with metals, plastics, and adhesives. So these are the different 6 types of composite wood that we may have: plywood, laminated wood, core board, sandwich board, fiber boards, and the particle board. Now, out of all this, the plywood is the one that you must have heard many times. हमारे आसपास lot many things are there. Those are made up of ply, right? Like आपके beds ply से बने होते हैं, cupboards, they are made up of ply. So there are so many such such products. Those are made up of ply, right? I think there was some disturbance with 2 mics open, so I have muted one. I hope everyone is getting clear voice now. Yeah, okay, thank you. So now we will start with the plywood and its manufacturing. As what is plywood? If we say, it is a glued wood construction built up of veneers. Now, what are the veneers? These are the thin slices of wood, right? Usually they are thinner than 3 millimeter. So glued wood construction that is built up of veneers in such a manner that the grain of each veneer is at right angle to the adjacent veneer in the assembly is known as plywood. This construction, particularly this, where we are saying the grains are at right angle to the adjacent veneer's grain. This is the main construction of plywood, right? So if we are constructing the thin, we are putting the thin slices of wood in such a manner that their grain means the direction of wood cell along the axis, right? If that we are keeping at 90 degrees angle with each other, then we will name it as plywood. Fine. So basically, this particular construction that we are doing, we are keeping grains at right angle of the adjacent veneers. It is named as cross-banded construction, right? It is named as construction. And the veneer that is on the outermost side, it is named as face. So one that is facing you, you can call it as face. The another face that is on back side, you can also call it as back. Both will be correct terms. Then the center ply is named as core, right? The ply that will be at the center will be named as core. And generally the number of plies, number of veneers those are used, those are the odd number of plies, right? Number of plies are always odd. It will be 3, 5, 7, 9 like this. The simplest structure is of 3 plies, in which one will be the core and 2 faces will be there, right? So here in this picture, you can see what we were talking about. Here, the centermost ply is here. Then these are the cores. This is the face. The another one is also face. When it is kept away from you, then you can call it as back, right? So back, 3 cores, and again this is face. Fine. Then we talked about the cross-banded construction. So you can see here, grain direction of the face is like this. Here it is like this. And in between the core ply or the ply between these two, its grain direction is like this. So we have kept them in this manner. Lowest, the first one, this, and second one's grain direction should be this. Then third, when you will put over it, its direct grain direction should be like this. Then if you will put fourth one, its direct grain direction should be like this. Then fifth one will come, the base that we call normally. Again, its direction should be this. Okay, so every time it should be at 90-degree angle with the adjacent veneer. Okay, so I hope it is clear to you all. Now, advantages of this plywood. What are the advantages? Before manufacturing process, let me tell you about its advantages. It possesses dimensional stability. It is very good advantage over the solid timber, over the whole timber that we use. Therefore, the dimensional stability, we have to follow certain steps, like you have to put it for seasoning, then you have to give it preservative treatments. Still, it does not get proper dimensional stability, right? Like during rainy season, we get our doors, windows, they used to get stuck. But plywood will get dimensional stability. It will also not have tendency to split, right? And you can make waterproof plies. Not even simple waterproof, but boiling waterproof plies can also be prepared, right? With the help of which resin you are using, you can make it waterproof, even up to boiling waterproof. And plywood, that can be, it is also easy to mold it into various different shapes. However, wood timber can also be molded in many shapes, but plywood can be easier and cheaper comparative to the timber. So these are its advantages over the timber. Now, here is the manufacturing process of plywood. Here in flow chart, you can see that for manufacturing of plywood, we have to follow certain steps, right? The first thing that we need to do is the preparation of veneers. Veneers need to be prepared. Thereafter, we have to dry the veneers. As we all know, wood used to have high amount of moisture content, and while veneering, we also use some water so that easy plying of the wood can be done. That is why after this, veneers need to be dried. After drying of the veneers, then mixing or spreading of glues or adhesive as a third step we have to do. Then once glue will be put over the veneers, we have to press it so that glue should be properly distributed, uniformly distributed between the two veneers. And once glue will be pressed, those plies, those veneers, they will be pressed, then we have to put it for the conditioning. Conditioning, we want to give it some specific moisture content, right? It should not be neither too dry nor too wet. So for that, conditioning is important. After conditioning, now as plywood is ready, so you have to trim it, sand it, and then it can be either sent to the market or it can be stored. So these are the different manufacturing steps. Now we will start with the first step, that is the preparation of the veneers. As we know, veneers are thin slice of wood. So here in picture, you can see thin slice of wood. Here, look at it. These are the piled up here, thin slices of wood you can see. And here also it is, as when we sharpen our pencils, then also you get those thin slices of wood, that can also be, you can name it also as a veneer. Difference is it is small, very small in the size, but it is also a kind of veneer. So here you can see veneers present. So first thing, for the preparation of veneer, what you need to do, you have to soften the logs by boiling or steaming, because we need to now those that wood, from the wood we have to take thin slice of wood. For taking thin slice of wood, it is very important that easily we can put that cut over it. So as we all know, wood is very hard in general. So to make it pliable, we have to increase its moisture content. We have to equalize the moisture content throughout the log. For that, you can boil it, or you can give some steam to the log so that it will get softened and equalized moisture content should be there. Thereafter, we have to cut it, right? So hello, I hope I'm audible. Okay, thank you. So second step, first what you need to do, you have to boil the wood, or you have to give steam to the wood so that it can get softer. Then you will put it for the cutting. Now how you will cut? In two manners you can make the veneers. Number one, you can do the rotary peeling. Second, what you can do, that is the slicing, right? These are the two ways. One, rotary peeling. Second is the slicing. Fine. Now, what is the difference between these two? As you can see here in the picture, rotary peeling में क्या होता है? What we have to do? We have to put the log on a lathe. In a lathe, here you can see it is nothing but a turning. It should be turned. A turning cylinder is there. On it, you have to fix your log. Once you will fix it, then in the machine there will be a knife, right? The knife, it will be in whole length of it, and it will keep on turning this particular log. It will keep on turning, and with the help of this knife, a thin slice of wood will keep on cutting, right? And like this you will get a veneer. So we call it as a rotary peeling because we are using a rotary lathe, right? On it, it is rotating and it is keep on giving us thin slices of veneers, right? But when we are saying slicing, slicing is like this. Here you can see. In it, you are not taking it in the round. What you can do from any particular direction, you are taking a slice of veneer from the timber, right? It is in rotary peeling, in whole thickness, we keep on taking it. But here you can see just a slice we can take out of it. Here in this picture, it will be more clear to you that slicing can be done in various manners. You can take rift cut, half round slicing, plain slicing. It is just taking a slice of thin timber, thin wood from any portion of the log, right? So that is the difference in rotary peeling and the slicing. Rotary peeling, rotary peeler we will use. Moving lathe should be there in which we put our wood, and then we take the veneer from that. That will be the rotary peeling. But here, simple, we are taking slices out of the timber. Okay. Now, as you have now taken, you got to know how we can make the veneers. Then there are few specifications of it. Like first thing, the maximum length of the log that we can use for the rotary peeling, it should be around 255 to 280 centimeter. Okay, that should be the maximum length of the log. Then normally in rotary cut, you will be able to get the thickness of 0.05 millimeter as a minimum thickness, right? Normally from the rotary peeler, you can get even half millimeter thin veneer. But though we can get so thin veneer, but the commonly used veneers thickness are 1.25, 1.5 and 2.5 millimeter. These are the various thickness of veneer that is used in the plywood industry. And if we are doing slicing of the veneer, we are going to take the slice of the veneer. In that condition, it is slight, we can say thicker than the rotary cut veneer. The sliced veneers, they are comparatively thick, right? So their size is 0.6 millimeter to 1.25 millimeter, right? This is the size of veneers that you can take from the sliced veneering. And the common thickness for the sliced veneer that is used is 0.8, 1 and 1.25 millimeter, right? And another thing that we should keep in our mind is the sliced veneer is normally used for decorative purpose. Now, why for decorative purpose we are saying? Because here you can see, while we are doing slicing, we have the width, length is fine, but the width of the veneer, it is less, right? It is only this much. So this, if you will use it for the ply making, you have to put the lot many joints in it. So for that purpose, normally slicing is done for decorative purpose, where width of the product used to be taken smaller, like paneling kar rahe hain, for paneling, small width of the ply is required. So that is the main reason, because width is less. For that purpose, we use it basically for the decorative purpose, and for making the plywood for larger products, we usually use rotary cut veneer. Fine. So these are the few specifications for the veneers. And after, when veneer will be prepared, you have to go for the jointing and splicing. Jointing and splicing, during this process, what you need to do, you, after, when ply veneers is prepared, you have to see if there are any defects in it. Those defects need to be removed, right? After removing the defect, what happens, whatever is requirement of the plywood size, sheets used to get narrowed. So by jointing them, by splicing them, you get the size required in the market. For that, we have this step of jointing and splicing. By jointing and splicing, even you can convert your sliced veneer into a wider veneers. And for this particular process, the link is being given here, YouTube link. You can use this link and you can see the video. That video will show you how the sliced veneers can be converted into wider veneers. Those can used for any bigger work, right? So you kindly follow this link, as I have already given you this presentation in downloaded form, so you can see it. Whole process of jointing and splicing is there from one industry. Okay. After jointing and splicing, your veneer preparation is completed. Now, after preparation of veneer, after cutting off the veneer, we will move to the second step. Next step is the drying of veneer. As we have studied, we have to first wet the wood, right? Log ko हमने क्या किया था? Boiling or steaming we used to do for making it soften. So there is those veneers, those are freshly cut, they are very wet. And as we all know this thing, that water, if watery surface is there, then glue does not work properly. Fine. So what we need to do for that purpose, we have to get our veneer dried. Basically, there are two reasons for drying it. First thing, as it is very wet, so it is unfit for the gluing. Second, if moisture content will be more, then it will get attacked by the fungus and the molds, right? So to save it from the attack of any fungi, to get it stained by the molds, we want to save it from all this, then we have to dry the veneer. So in that condition, what you need to do, you have to use either the steam heated mechanical dryers or the kilns, those we use for drying the timber. Same kilns you can use, and the mostly used kiln in the industries is steam heated, right? So steam heated mechanical kilns, they are used so that quick drying of the veneers can be achieved. Now, when veneers are dried, next step in the process is mixing and spreading of glue. So mixing and spreading of glue, if we say, first of all, you have to remind what we have studied in last class. It was about the glues, right? So I have told you, out of those four kinds of glue that is mostly used nowadays is the synthetic glue. And among the synthetic glue, UF, urea formaldehyde, PF, phenol formaldehyde. These are the glues, those are mostly in use because of their, both glues are thermosetting in nature, right? Their performance is very good. If we are using these glues, our material becomes water resistant. Fine. So we use in plywood industry also, or I should say in composite wood industry, UF and PF, they are used for the purpose. So you have to choose the glue, and then mixing of the glue should be done in batches. It is important to note, you should not make the glue for all, like your 5, 6, 10 days works glue. You should not make on single day. If today you are going to prepare 1000 plies, then you have to make glue for that one only. That is why we are saying mixing of glue should be done in batches. Okay, whatever is today's need, we will have to make the glue for today's requirement only. And then once glue batch is prepared, what you need to do, one has to put the glue properly over the veneers. Now, how to put the glue over the veneer? See, if industry is small, then even people, they used to do it by their hand. Fine. With the help of brushes, glue used to be spread on the veneers. But in big industry, lot of work is there. So if we will do all those things by hand, then it will take time. So the machine that is used is named as glue spreader, right? Glue spreader is used for the purpose. Here you can see the picture of glue spreader. This is the platform, right? In this platform, you have to put the veneer, and these two cylinders, those you can see, they are there for the pressing of it. Once from end here, there are very small holes. Through those holes, glue will come out. So what we need to do, we will put our veneer on this platform, and then it will move from it, and through these cylinders, the glue that will come out through the holes, it will covered on it, and from another side, one can collect the veneer, right? So this simple mechanism is there, and one can put veneer one over another in this glue spread, and one by one you will get your veneers with the glue on it. Now, once you have glued your veneers, now important task has started where skill is required. It is what? Now you have to align your veneers one over another. So which alignment we will use? Can anybody tell me which construction we call it? Yes. What is the name of that construction? Glued wood, glued veneers you have to now assemble. So what is that proper order in which you have to assemble it? Yes, tell me, Mona Lisa. Yeah, tell me the name of that construction. Just few slides back I have told you. Yes, very good, Vilivi. It is, and Kanishka, it is cross band construction. In cross-bend construction, what we do here in the picture, you can see grain direction. Grains should be at 90° in the adjacent veneer. So here you can see this yellow arrow, it is showing you the grain, right? So you can see the core board has the grain in this direction, and here the face has grain in this direction. So we have to put them in such a manner so that they can make 90° angle with each other. The grains should make 90° angle with each other, right? So before pressing, what you need to do in the pressing step, you will take the glued veneers and you have to assemble them in a proper order. What is the proper order? Proper order is this. You have to put them in cross-bended construction. Alternative plies should be at 90° angle to each other in terms of their grain. Okay, and then thereafter, what you need to do, you have to, once you will make the assembly, then you have to press the stack that you have prepared, right? It must be pressed. So the pressing is done in the hydraulic presses, and the pressure that is usually used for the plywood is 7 to 18 kg per square centimeter. That is the pressure in the hydraulic press is used for the pressing of the glued construction that you have prepared. Now, on the basis of what type of glue we are using, you can go for either cold pressing or hot pressing. Now, once we are saying the type of glue, it means if you are using UF is urea formaldehyde, right? You can go for either cold pressing or hot pressing. It depends on you which facility is available with you. If you are using UF, you can go for any two of these. Either go for hot press or cold press. But if you are using PF, phenol formaldehyde resin, if this is your glue, then cold press will not work. You have to go for hot pressing, right? Now, what is the difference between this hot press and the cold press? Cold pressing means once you will stake your plies, then what you need to do, you have to press it as I told you. If you are doing that pressing in hydraulic press at room temperature, there is no artificial temperature is giving. What we are doing, the pressing we are doing at the room temperature, then we will call it as cold press, right? What we are doing, if we are doing it at room temperature, then it is cold pressing. But if we are doing pressing at elevated temperature, it may be up to 100 to 150 degrees Celsius. If this is the temperature, high temperature you are giving along with the pressing, then you can name it as a hot press, right? And there is also difference in the stacking while we are putting our material for cold press or hot press. In case of cold press, what we do, whatever, like you have prepared, for example, 10 plies of 10 plywood you have prepared with 3 plies each, right? So what you will do, each plywood you will keep one over another, and between the two, in the hydraulic press, between two presses you will keep whole of the stack, and then a pressure can be created there with the help of screws or with the help of hydraulic press, right? But in case of hot press, your staking will also be different. There will be many compartments. Between each plate you have to keep one ply only, like your 3 plied construction you have made. So between two plates you will keep one ply. There are 10 plates, then between each two plates you have to keep one ply, right? So there is difference in stacking also, as I told you. In cold press, all the plies can be stacked one over another, whereas in hot press, between two plates one has to put one ply. So like this we get the pressing, because the heat that will be there, it will be through the plates. Those plates will get heated, and then that heat will transfer to the plywood that you have prepared. And then only hydraulic press is used in hot press, not the mechanical screw press, right? Mechanical screw press is not used in hot pressing, but only hydraulic press is used. And hot pressing, you have to do it in any case for the PF. For UF, you can do hot press as well as cold press, right? And the time of pressing and temperature, if we say, it depends on glue and also the thickness of the pack. If thickness of pack is more, then more time is required. Like in case of hot press, experiments shows this thing that if the thickness of pack is 3.5 millimeter, then you require 2.75 minute of pressing. But if it is 22 millimeter, then the pressing time will increase to 9.5 minute, right? So it depends on the thickness and the type of the glue. Like if you are using UF, then you need not to go for 100 to 150 degrees Celsius temperature. But if you have PF as a resin used there, then temperature should be 100 plus. Fine. So accordingly, one has to decide. As I told you, the hydraulic press, it is the one that you can see here. I hope you are able to see the plates. Can you see? One plate is here, then in second, then third, third thoda sa upar. This is the third one, and then this is the lower one. So there are the 4 plates. If you are doing hot pressing, then what you need to do, between each these plates, you have to put one ply. So from this particular hydraulic press, at a time you will be able to do only 3 plies to get pressed, right? And this particular equipment that you are seeing here, it is for the purpose of research. From the research institute, from FRI Research Institute, I have clicked this picture, and here you can see that is why only 3 are there. In the industries, you will be able to see that these are very huge. At a time, around 50 plies can be heat pressed altogether, right? So between each plate, one has to put the ply, and once ply will be kept there, then it will be pressed. Like here you can see, it is closed here, right? Here you can see it is open. Once we have put the plies, then we will close it, right? And then all these mechanisms are there, all those whatever required pressure and temperature, one has to put it here in this system. And then from here, it will get required temperature and the pressure, and in few minutes, your product will be pressed, right? So hot pressing and cold pressing, as we said, here this particular slide is giving you written material on the cold pressing, and you can, whatever I have explained, that thing is kept here. You can keep it for your as your study material. Fine. Thereafter, we will move to the last step of the plywood manufacturing. Before the last step, in the sense, thereafter you will get only that trimming work, right? So conditioning of the panel, we can say, is the second last step for us in the plywood construction. Conditioning of the panel, basically it is done to maintain the moisture content of the plywood. And kitna maintain karna hai? We have to maintain it at around 12%. Now here question arises, why 12% moisture content? Why we want to maintain the moisture content of the plywood as 12%? Now 12% maintenance is required because this is the moisture content at which there will be no dimensional change on the wood. If moisture content goes beyond 12%, then slowly there will be the change in the dimension, and your wood also becomes crooked, right? That is why moisture content should be at around 12%. That will be the that we need to maintain in conditioning of panels. Now, here in this regard, conditioning will be slight different for the hot pressed plywood and the cold pressed plywood. As we know, hot pressing में हम क्या करते हैं? We give temperature. When we are putting our plies at 100 degrees Celsius temperature, in that condition, what will happen? Definitely, there will be considerable loss of moisture, right? When considerable moisture loss is there, then it is very important that immediately after pressing, it should put for the conditioning, right? In conditioning chamber, we should put it immediately, and we should expose it to the controlled humidity so that its moisture content can be reached up to 12% at least, right? Or if humidity chambers or conditioning chambers are not there, then also one thing can be done with the hot pressed plywood, that is, one can sponge on these hot pressed plywood. If sponging will be done, then also they will absorb the moisture quickly because they are heated up that time. Okay, so in hot pressed plywood, it is very important. Immediately it need to be done. Otherwise, the plywood's property, it may get lost. Okay, then cold pressed plywood may, it is not that big problem, because normally in cold pressed plywood, moisture content is comparatively high, right? Comparative to hot press plywood, moisture content you will find more in the cold press. So if it is not 12%, then you can put it under the kiln. Inside the kiln you can put it so that it can get dried, right? And if you want to maintain the humidity more, the more say in general, if you are finding that it is less, then same in the kiln, one can also increase the humidity of it, so moisture content can be reached up to 12%. So for the conditioning of panel, as I told you, in humidity chamber we need to put it. So what are these humidity chambers actually? They looks like this. It is a long machine, we can say. In this long machine, you can see above picture is showing the sketch of internally what is there, and from outside you can see how it looks, right? So here you can easily make it that fans are there, right? These are the fans, and we all know fans are required so that air should circulate properly. And also inside there are heating pipes, those will increase the temperature inside the chamber. So this end that you are seeing, we call it as a wet end, where you can put your wet veneers, or if they are dried, then you can start from here. It is dry end, right? Now, if you have cold pressed wood, what you will do, cold pressed veneers, plywood, you will send it from here. And then at every step, here you can see chambers are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So many chambers are there. These chambers are just like after every interval, there is change in the temperature and humidity, right? There is change in temperature and humidity. So slowly we need to maintain the moisture content of the plywood that is being recently pressed. So we will send it from here, and it will keep on moving from each of the stage, and finally the required moisture content will be maintained in it, and it can be taken out from dry end, right? Same here in the companies, industries, you can see from here plywood will be sent, and inside at every step there will be different temperature and humidity condition, and from other end you can get your conditioned panels out. Fine. So this whole equipment is named as, either you can call it as conditioning chamber or you can call it as humidity chamber, right? Here it is. Okay, I hope you got it. समझ में आया यहाँ तक? Yes, very good. Okay. Now the last step, as your panels, your plywood, you have now prepared it, you have conditioned it. It is well prepared now. Thereafter, you have to give some finishing to it. For the finishing, the step is named as trimming, sanding, and storage, right? Once we make it, then what happens? These corners, they might not be properly trimmed. So what you need to do, this is a trimming machine. You know, one by one, your ply will keep on moving, and you can see here, trimmed corners, they are fallen here, right? So in the machine, the size that is required, that used to be fitted, one can put that size, the machine can be set according to the size, then it will be properly trimmed, and if required, it will be sanded. Why we do like trimming? We do so that we can get this kind of finish, right? Sanding we do so that if any splinter, small splinter, it is out, then it will also become soft. So to make the surface softer, here as well as here on both sides, one can do sanding also. So after trimming and sanding as per the required dimension, then your plywood is ready. You can put it in the store, or it can be dispatched to the market or from wherever you have got the demand. So with it, the manufacturing process of plywood completes, right? Did you get it? So I am calling for a poll. If anyone has any problem or you have not got it, kindly mention here so that I can take up your queries. Mona Lisa, what is the problem, beta? Where did not you get it? Tell me. Which point is not clear to you? Okay, you said no problem. All right. My question was, did you get what we have studied? Okay. Yes, Mona Lisa, if you have any question, you can ask. I am here for that. Tell me, what is that? Changwang, Deepika, Diliram, Himalayas, Carolyn, Sandhya, Sarmalong. I did not get your response, beta. Yes, Carolyn, Diliram, Deepika, your response are still waiting. Himalaya. All right. Yes, Mona Lisa, your question? Why can't PF be used in beta, PF, phenol formaldehyde. You know, phenol formaldehyde, for its adhesive property, it requires, for the chemical reactions, it requires heat. Because it is phenolic based, it requires heat for becoming crystallized, right? Two surfaces, adhesive, what is the work of adhesive? Adhesive used to join two surfaces, right? So that is this PF is doing. So if you will put the PF on any surface, it requires heat to get crystallized quickly. Without heat, it will not give good results. It will not get crystallized. It will not joint the two surfaces. That is why we need hot pressing. It will not work in the cold pressing. Okay? Did you get it now? Good. So according to the poll, all have got the things, but Himalayas reh gaya. Himalayas? Yes, tell me, what is the problem? Which point you did not get? You are welcome, Mona Lisa. All clear. Okay, then why did you write no? Okay, you were also writing like Mona Lisa, that no doubts. That's fine. So it is about plywood manufacturing. Now, my question to you all, as you are saying you do not have any question, so my question, can you tell me how many plies are used in this plywood that you are seeing in the picture? Bolo. In this picture, how many plywood it is? Count it and then tell me. Okay, Mona Lisa is writing 5. What about others? Kanishka is saying 6. Caroline is saying 5. Bete, count it again. Everybody, count it again. If you are thinking that brown color is boundary, then it is wrong. Okay, that brown color that you are seeing, it is also a ply. Yeah, Changwang seems to be right here. It is 13 plywood, right? Yes, it is 13 plywood. You know why that different color is there? Because of the grain. You have changed it like this, no? So that much thick glue used not to be put there. Glue layer is very, very thin. You must have seen the plies at your home as well. Fine. So I hope now with this answer as I'm getting from you, it seems you have got the things. So today we will stop it here at this plywood. At last, I would like to tell you where you can use it, and then we will close the class, right? So normally you all, I think, can tell me so many uses of plywood. Those are written here as interior walls, partitions, even sometimes for exterior walls, for the floor, door, cabinets, shutterings, fitments. For all those places you can use plywood. And also in railway carriages it can be made, right? It can be used, sorry. And also cabinets, those we make, that for that also plywood can be used. In sports goods, plywood can be used. If table tennis bat, you have many of you must have played with it. So out inside the rubber covering there is the that is made, also made up of plywood. It is not made up of that timber, but of the, because one thing, it will be cheaper. Number two, comparatively lighter. Number three, also strong. So for all that purpose, that teaches that is also made up of ply. So like this, there are so many uses of the plywood we can have. We can say this particular composite wood can easily um, uh, take the place of timber. Item we can get, but comparative properties we can get in the plywood as we have in timber, right? So so with it we close today's class. If still there is any question, anyone can ask. Any question is there, then we can take up the question, we can discuss. Okay, fine. It seems everything is okay. Then in next class, we will start with another composite wood, that is laminated wood. Okay, with it. And for laminated wood, it is very important that plywood construction should be in your mind. Then then it will be easier to understand the laminated wood construction. Okay, so thank you everyone. Take care. Have good day.